And as usual, it is Wednesday. We are back. We are the Jocks of All Trades podcast. I am Brad, joined by Kyle. As you know, Wednesdays are our Armchair GMs show where we focus on fantasy football. Um, let's dive right in, Kyle, and go over to Jocks Grades. Who has our A this week?
Well, it's a little bit of a dynamic duo. We have Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek Hill, yeah, 47.6 points in the PPR, and Patrick Mahomes had 41.72. Yeah, they absolutely demolished the Eagles defense on Sunday, if you watch that. The Eagles defense apparently is built for not giving up big plays, but yeah, they had a lot of big plays. Mahomes had 5 touchdowns, and Tyreek Hill is just he's getting over 10 catches a game, which is just crazy for a deep threat. Usually those deep threat guys, you're lucky to get 5 catches, but he's getting the ball so much, and he's proving his worth as number one receiver. So that's our A.
Yeah. Our B this week is Saquon Barkley. He had 29.60 points in PPR. Welcome back, Saquon. That is week 2 that he has had a rushing touchdown and over 20 points. It looks like he is not struggling anymore. Welcome back to the world of relevance in fantasy football, Saquon.
And our C is Jonathan Taylor. He had a very good bounce back game against the Miami Dolphins. We were kind of wondering when he'd get it going because for the first few weeks he didn't do anything at all, and the whole Colts offense is pretty abysmal. But it's good to see him kind of get back to his fantasy relevance, get 20.4 points in a PPR league. I have him on my team, so he helped me out this week. But he didn't have as many carries as you want to see. I think a guy like that, especially last year, I felt like at the end of the year he was getting at least 20 carries a game, and he didn't get that. But if they keep increasing his workload, getting him 20 to 25 touches a game, I think that point per week will go up. So he's our C right now, with I think the hope that he's going to keep getting more and more if they give him the ball.
Yep. Our D would upset our third usual co-host here. Is Justin Fields. He had 7.26 points in the PPR league. When you're playing the Lions, Kyle, you kind of expect better, I guess. And that just wasn't evident in that game, at least in fantasy, where that's related. Um, should we be worried about Justin Fields at this point, or is it too early to be worrying about a rookie quarterback like that?
Well, for fantasy perspective, I think he told you to pick him up, but I think sitting him on your bench, I think he'd be a good guy. Like if you're in a keeper league to keep him, but you're not seeing enough from an innovation standpoint. You're not seeing enough from his playmakers. I mean, Montgomery's out for the next few weeks. That's
Yeah.
going to hurt the offense. The offensive line's pretty bad, and they're not really getting the ball to Allen Robinson, which I don't think is a Fields problem. I think it's a Matt Nagy problem. So I think from a quarterback standpoint, like, yeah, Fields had a good game against the Lions. That was good to see. But from fantasy standpoint, like, yeah, it's not where it needs to be. You kind of expect him to run the ball a little bit more. I think he only had 8 rushing yards, so that's not really what you want to see from a fantasy perspective. So, um, yeah, 7 points isn't great, but it's better than I kind of thought because Matt Nagy's so bad. So you're kind of hoping the point total will go up and up and up with more of a game plan, more of a scheme, and just more comfortability from Justin Fields. So
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. And our last one, Kyle, is F, which would be Miles Gaskin, who had 0.30 points in PPR. Um, I could walk onto an NFL field and get 4 yards and have more points than Miles Gaskin. That's pretty bad. That's pretty terrible, especially if you
I'd kind of like to see
started
you do it
Miles
though.
Gaskin. Huh?
I kind of like to see you do it though.
Me too. Any NFL team that's willing to take me up on that offer, please. I would love to try. even if it's just in like a practice or something. Anyhow, yeah, but for an entire game to have just that, that's pretty awful, especially when Tua is out and Brissett is your next best option. I expected them to pound the ground, and they did a bit, but it was with Malcolm Brown, not Miles Gaskin, the guy that he was. Flores was all like, "Oh, he's not going to be our guy," and then he became the guy, and then the season started, and all of that went back like to smoke. So I guess get off of Miles Gaskin if you are still believing in Miles Gaskin at this point.
Yeah, he's not worth it, I don't think. Um, Only had 2 attempts. That's his lowest on the year. He had no targets at all. The first 3 games, he had 5 targets, and 6 targets. And then, at least around 8 rushes a game. So he was getting the ball at least 12, 13 times a game. He only got the ball twice. So is this an aberration? Maybe. But that doesn't look good. You definitely want to see him at least get 10 to 12 touches for him to be on your team. And if he's only getting 2, if a guy gets 2 touches a game, he shouldn't be on your team.
No,
Really.
no.
So
That will wrap up Jocks Grades this week. Kyle, one of your favorite segments, I think, is Sleeper Seekers. I will talk about last week if you want to talk about this week, since last week was like mostly my guys. So Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley, we told you pick up all of that Bills offense. All of them are doing well. Well, we were half right. Uh, Emmanuel Sanders had 13.10 points, 6 targets, 5 catches, 74 yards, and 1 rush for 7 yards. Not bad. I mean, he did pretty decent. That, to me, would still be a start, maybe in your flex, not necessarily for a receiver. But Cole Beasley, on the other hand, had 3.60 points, 2 targets, 2 catches, and 16 yards. It's not great, but I'm going to say keep the faith and hold on, because they play against Kansas City. And so far, Kansas City has not had any viable defense and has not been shutting down receivers.
no.
So I think if you feel comfortable enough, they could be a good flex start, maybe even a full start, at least for Sanders. I'm not sold on Beasley, but I mean, if that's the situation you're in, go for it. See what happens. My second here, we talked about Michael Pittman. So once again, Michael Pittman kind of showed that he is consistent, maybe not explosive, but consistent. He had 11.90 points, 8 targets, 6 catches, 59 yards. He is consistent. I would, however, caution playing him this upcoming week against the Baltimore Ravens. They really do have a good pass defense, and just an all-around good defense. Not saying that he's not going to get targeted, but maybe I wouldn't expect him to produce as much as he did last week. James Conner, we told you to pick up James Conner. He had 20.60 points, 18 rushes for 50 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 targets, 2 catches for 16 yards. That's not bad. I'm going to go ahead and come out and say I am not a believer in Chase Edmonds. Now, that is not me saying that James Conner needs to be your running back 1. He doesn't really at all, because it's too inconsistent. There's way too many guys on that Cardinals offense down to the tight end. Kyler could run it in the red zone more than James Conner could run it. I'm not sold. Hang on to him. Stash him on your bench. Kind of see where that leads you, but I would not start James Conner in your RB1 spot. Maybe a flex. If you feel comfortable with a flex, run him in the flex, but I wouldn't start him. Let's see. Tyler Conklin. I really thought that, Kirk Cousins was going to sling the ball around to everybody. And he tried. He really did, but it just didn't work out for them against the Browns. The Browns really, really, really shut them down. Conklin had 5.80 points, 6 targets, 4 catches, 18 yards. However, they do play the Detroit Lions next. If there is a defense that you want to run a tight end against, it is the Detroit Lions. This is a good question. Let me throw this up here, Kyle. Do we mess with IDP leagues? I don't. Kyle, do you?
No, we don't do that. I've always wanted to do that. IDP, so that's you get specific players from the defense and draft them as well onto your team. So like you could get a Khalil Mack, you could get a Fletcher Cox, you could get a JJ Watt. But we don't. I've never done that. So I could give you advice, like I know players, but I don't really know their fantasy stats per se
Fantasy
for
stats,
IDP
yeah.
leagues. So.
We do have one other question, Kyle. I'm going to go ahead and throw it up here. Would you guys drop Trey Sermon or Pollard for Alex Collins, or just keep them?
If you could manage to get all three, I would. But Alex Collins does have Chris Carson in front of him when Carson is healthy. Tony Pollard has shown some consistency. Trey Sermon, though, I think, like even if Elijah Mitchell comes back, I think Trey Sermon has shown enough for you to keep him on your team.
I agree.
In a pinch, yeah, for sure, you could start Alex Collins, but I would definitely not drop Trey Sermon or Tony Pollard quite yet.
No, I would keep them, man. They're both just too valuable at this point. Yeah, that was a great question. Thanks for asking, Hollywood. And sorry we don't mess with IDP leagues. They're Martin victorious. I wish we did.
When we do, we'll let you know.
Yeah, exactly. Let us move on here for a second.
To Chuba Hubbard, or Chuba Hubbard.
Go ahead.
A little update on that. McCaffrey was back at practice today in full pads. I just saw that. Yeah, you're happy because you have him. So that's something to watch out for. I don't know if he's fully healthy. He's probably not. If he's coming off a hamstring injury, like it's probably gonna. He probably won't get the necessary targets or rushes that you want to see for him. So maybe keep Hubbard. Like, don't get rid of him yet. But I definitely probably would not start him if McCaffrey's back. So he's back at practice, so it's just an update for you. So
thank you for the subscription, Hollywood. I appreciate it. That is exactly the things that we need. Please subscribe, like, share. We are more than willing to answer any questions. Really, really appreciate that, man. And our last sleeper seeker for last week, I said Rashad Bateman might show up. Yes, he did practice a lot. He was there. But they didn't take him off of IR, and he didn't play against the Broncos. Kyle, would you even keep him at this point, or would you drop him?
Thanks, Hollywood.
Yeah,
appreciate the question. I'd keep him. If there's an IR spot on your team, I mean, I'd stick him on there until he's ready to go off of it. But Marquise is playing so well. Mark Andrews is still there. I don't know if it's worth it. If you have the open spot, keep him for sure. Yeah. But if you're really in a pinch, you need other players, then yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up last week's Sleeper Seekers. Let's move to this week's Sleeper Seekers. Kyle, go ahead.
Yeah, so these first two that we have on here, listen, if you guys, I'm not saying we're experts, I'm not saying we're God tier, but if you listened to us a few weeks ago, we did say Kenny Gainwell and we did say Trey Lance. We'll put them up again because they had good performances. Kenny Gainwell had 20.9 points. He had 3 rushes for 31 yards, 1 touchdown, 8 targets, 6 catches, 58 yards. Up next against Carolina. Listen, Kenny Gainwell was a steal as a 5th-round pick. And if you have Miles Sanders on your team, God bless you, because I have him too, and he's not getting the ball. And I don't know why. I really don't. I know Kenny Gainwell is better out of the backfield. Gainwell played receiver in college a little bit. So Gainwell will see the field. He's going to get his targets. He's going to get his touches. You might not see the 20 points a game, but let's see what this is. Keep Pollard. Yeah, I think you should keep Pollard for sure. They use Zeke a little bit more, but I mean, again, if you're in a PPR league, he's going to get receptions and based on the game plan too. Wouldn't you think, Brad? Because it seems like the first couple weeks it was all Dallas passing offense, but recently it's been their ground game that's been working for them.
But the thing with that, even with the first couple weeks, it was still the Pollard show over the Zeke Elliott show. So I would absolutely keep Pollard. Spot on Dynasty Pylon. I am right there with you, man. We have another question from Hollywood.
Okay.
Is Jalen Hurts getting to the point where you would start him over Lamar, depending on matchups, of course? You're
Oof.
asking an Eagles fan here on the other side of me, so
Yeah. I would say no, and here's why. Is because Jalen Hurts is not as good of a runner as Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's legs are integral to that offense, and he's shown it more consistently. If you look at Jalen Hurts in week 2 against the Niners, all he could do was run the ball. Like, we haven't seen enough from a scheme standpoint from the Eagles in terms of running the ball for Jalen Hurts. And even though he did have a great week passing last week, Lamar Jackson is just, I think he's more consistent, honestly. If you have both of them on your team, dude, I'd look at trading one of them, right? If you have both
yeah,
of them on your team, like, see if
yeah,
you can, because Jalen Hurts is still going to get his points. But it's a new offense. Listen, it's a new offense with Nick Sirianni. At some point, they're going to figure it out. Lamar Jackson, his whole offense,
yeah.
his whole game, they figured it out, but he's still doing this. So, like, I would still keep with Lamar. Last week, someone asked us, who should we start? It was the quarterbacks. It was Lamar Jackson. It was Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr. We told you to start Lamar Jackson, and I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure he did more from those guys. The Kirk Cousins was awful, and I think Derek Carr threw a couple picks in that Chargers game. So,
Yeah.
I'd for sure start Lamar.
Hollywood, I have to tell you why I'm laughing. So I don't know if you know this, but I'm a Ravens fan and he's an Eagles fan. So it was really nice for me to hear him admit that the Ravens quarterback is way better than the Eagles quarterback. I know I'm never going to get that out of him. Thank you for that. Anyhow, yes, I would absolutely do Kenny Gainwell. Trey Lance just blew up and had 2 touchdowns and actually rushed for a pretty healthy amount, 41
Mm-hmm.
yards, 7 rushes. But he does play Arizona next. Is that a good start still against Arizona, or do you really believe in that defense?
No, I don't think that's a good start. I picked up Arizona's defense. The only thing that they're going to have negative is they haven't seen enough of Trey Lance to formulate a good game plan against him. That's
That's
what the
true.
Niners will have in front of the Cardinals. But that 41 yards is interesting to think about because with a guy like Trey Lance, who really will not go through his progressions as well as a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, he will be inclined to run a little bit more than your normal quarterback. So that's why his point total is probably a little bit higher than it should be or will be because he's not going to stay in the pocket for a while. He's not going to go through all his reads. He's going to run the ball because he can. So, um, his passing numbers might not be great from a completion percentage standpoint, but I still think he'll get his yards. So, this week though, I wouldn't trust it as a start, but as a pickup for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Who is our next one after that, Kyle? I'm sorry, my
Alex
phone's ringing.
Collins, Alex Collins, 15.8 points, 10 rushes for 40 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 catches for 34 yards. I don't really know what happened with Chris Carson. I know he got banged up, but Alex Collins, when he was in there, I mean, he's a bigger dude, but he looked shifty and he looked like he can make some stuff happen. Again, he plays the Rams next week. So, right, the LA Rams. So that is going to hurt, I think. I think they have a very good run defense. And again, when you have Chris Carson, who's a really good fantasy running back and has been for the last couple of years, um, it might be a good spot start, but I don't know long term how it's going to work out for you. But I think it'd be a good spot start for next week. Um, Next we have Jameson Crowder, 19 points, 9 targets, 7 catches, 61 yards, 1 touchdown against Atlanta next week. Atlanta's defense is horrible. Jameson Crowder, he was hurt the first few weeks. I know I drafted him late in my one league just because he was a very good fantasy player last year. Very good, very
Yeah.
undervalued. Got a lot of targets. Kind of a slot guy, but also has deep threat ability. I think he will be Zach Wilson's probably favorite target. Because listen, his first favorite target was Corey Davis, and when you have Corey Davis on the outside, it's a little bit harder to get to those guys when you're running around like Zach Wilson. But when you have Jameson Crowder in the middle of the field, it's going to be a little bit of an easier of a throw for Zach Wilson. So I think he could be a very good start, not just next week, but for weeks and weeks on. Let's see. Should I Donald Trump?
That's what I was laughing. I was like, what?
I don't know why you're asking serious questions. Should I trade Devontae? I'm assuming that's Devontae Adams and Mixon for Najee and Debo. No, no. Devontae Adams, he's going to find his points. He might not have a great year this year so far, but he's Roger's favorite target, and he was a killer last year. He's going to get his targets. He's going to get his points. Najee, too inconsistent right now. At Steelers offense, Steelers O-line, it's just not – I know they use him quite a bit, but Mixon is definitely over Najee. I know Debo's having a really solid year, but with Trey Lance in the fold right now, Brad, don't you think his value will decrease just a little bit?
I agree. I actually think Kittle's value is going to go back up now because Kittle was not getting targeted a whole lot with Jimmy G. Maybe that changes with Trey Lance. We'll see.
So, no, Donald Trump, you shouldn't know. Oh, another question. Chris Carson has a neck injury. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. It's very similar to Christian McCaffrey. Even if McCaffrey's good to go, he's going to be limited. So I think Alex Collins is. Yeah.
Can we subscribe to you, Dynasty Pylon? Like I like you.
That's a cool picture.
Yeah.
I like these questions. Keep them coming. Yeah, I agree. Chris Carson is going to be very much like the Christian McCaffrey thing. He's going to be on snap count if he's limited, so he might not get the points that you want him to.
That's true.
Speaking of Packers receivers, Randall Cobb, 23.9 points. He's our next sleeper seeker. It's good to see him back with Aaron Rodgers. You can tell the chemistry's still there. He only had 5 catches, but went for 69 yards. Nice. And 2 touchdowns. So that's really good to see. He doesn't really like Valdez Scantling a lot. He's more of a deep threat, kind of a one-trick pony kind of guy. So he's good to pick up. Worth starting in the flex, I think. But it's something to monitor because I don't know if he's going to have the same production. Because remember, they drafted Amari Rodgers in the draft last year, and he's more of a slot guy. Oh, Donald Trump, now Bill Gates. Oh, my gosh. Sorry about your divorce, Bill Gates. Should I try to trade Joe Mixon? And if so, who should I try to target?
Is it bad to say literally anybody?
I mean, it's not a bad idea to look for offers. I would continue to be patient just a little bit more with Joe Mixon. If you're looking for a running back to trade for Joe Mixon, maybe a guy like a Tony Pollard if you're really pissed off with Mixon. Maybe you could swing a trade for Saquon Barkley. Kareem Hunt, yeah, I would say Kareem Hunt's probably on that same tier. Kareem Hunt's a backup, but he's getting you some good points. At least he's gotten me some good points in my league so far. Yeah, I would just wait on the Joe Mixon thing, you know? I know he's questionable right now. He's still ranked 16th. He had 25 the first week, then 8, then around 10, and then 13 the last week. So it's not bad. I mean, if he can show you that he can get you 25 and be pretty consistent other than that, I don't think he's worth giving up right now. He's still going to get his carries. And the Bengals offense, they will definitely move the ball. So if he's not getting the yards that you want, at least they're going to get to the red zone. He'll have opportunities to get you some touchdowns. They're a very deep threat, big play offense. So if he's not getting you the targets or yards per carry you want, I think he'll still get you some touchdowns. So I'd hold off on that Joe Mixon thing. I just wait a little bit.
Do we want to squeeze our next 2 sleeper seekers together real quick?
Yeah, so quickly, Dalton Schultz. If you're watching the Cowboys, he's a red zone threat. They target those tight ends in the red zone, pick him up. He's definitely worth starting. Next is Damian Williams. Montgomery got hurt, like we said earlier. So Williams is the next man up. I know he's a little banged up, so that's something to watch for, but pick up Damian Williams while Montgomery's out.
Before we move on, this is such a good question. Kyle, would you like your take first, or do you want me to go ahead? Because I feel like we're going to disagree.
No, I don't believe in AJ Brown. I don't.
Oh,
Nope.
wow, we agree. No, I don't. No. I would rather take, if you're going to take a receiver from that offense, I would absolutely take Julio Jones over AJ Brown. Like, that's where I'm at. We've got so many more. Holy crap. Would you guys rather have Chase Edmonds or Zach Moss? Zach Moss, dude. That guy is a red zone touchdown machine. Chase Edmonds hasn't.
He's getting the ball a lot more too.
Yeah.
Zach Moss's targets and carries are going up. So, yeah.
Here's one. In a half PPR, by the way. Oh, I'm sorry. In half PPR was that question. He ended up saying half PPR there. I don't.
Yeah, I would still say Zach Moss.
I agree, because the touchdown ratio is a lot higher for him, anyways.
Yeah.
Should I believe in JT and Alvin this week? Oh, that's hard. My wife loves Alvin Kamara, and swears by Alvin Kamara. I want to say yes, but it all depends on Winston. It really does. So let's see what happens.
That running game got going for the Colts. So I am a full believer in Jonathan Taylor. And if it's the PPR league, Jace, then Alvin Kamara, you should always believe in him. He's going to get the ball a little bit. So
I agree. Bill Gates, thanks for sticking around, dude. Do you think Mike Thomas gets back? Will he be good?
I'd hold on to him, but if he's in your free agency, I'd pick him up for sure. But once he comes back, I would not start him right away. No, I don't trust it yet. I don't. He's not only a little bit banged up, but he's a little bit disgruntled too. So I'd watch out for that.
Need 2 wide receivers this weekend. I have Robert Woods, Tyler Boyd, Cortland Sutton, Marvin Jones Jr., and Laviska Shenault. Holy crap. Yeah, you've got a couple wide receivers, man.
Robert Woods, no.
Yeah.
No. Tyler Boyd, yes. If T. Higgins is still hurt, play Tyler Boyd. He got me 20 last week.
Yeah.
And Shenault, if it's a PPR league, I think he had about 9 catches. So if they're going to get him more involved, that might be a smart play. But you also have Marvin Jones, so they're on the same team. So definitely do not start both of them because they're on the same team. I'd probably go Tyler Boyd and one of the Jacksonville receivers, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I would lean more towards Marvin Jones just because he gets more red zone targets. But you're absolutely correct that Shenault is getting all the targets right now outside of red zone targets. So it's really whether you think Shenault is going to have a crap load of yards and a lot of catches, or if Marvin Jones is going to get a touchdown. So that's up to you, man. I personally would take Marvin Jones, but it might be Shenault. But definitely Tyler Boyd if Higgins is still questionable. Sutton is just not even on my radar, man.
He's playing the Steelers though this week. We'll see. He's had a couple down weeks since that killer performance. So, I definitely take Tyler Boyd, and then I'd kick Robert Woods out probably. So
yeah. Oh man, start 3 receivers: Devontae Adams, AJ Brown, Marvin Jones, Jacoby Myers, or Marquise Brown. Definitely Marquise Brown. Devontae Adams and Marvin Jones. Yeah, absolutely. That is probably the exact order I would put them into. Just because Marquise Brown has a really, really good shot this week to continue what he's been doing. Devontae Adams, I guess we'll see. My biggest problem for him is he's just not getting those red zone targets that I was hoping for, but he's still going to catch the ball more than most of everybody else on that team. And then, again, Marvin Jones is like a red zone target that Lawrence seems to like a lot. So, yeah. Holy crap. A lot of great questions, guys. Thank you for asking. Hopefully this helps you win this week. If it does, come back next week and let us know. We would love to hear.
If it doesn't, come back and let us know.
Yeah. So what do you want to go to next? That was a lot. Do you want to go to trade bait since everyone's asking us about trades?
Why don't we do a couple of these next ones, and then we'll go to trade bait.
Works for me.
So I'll ask you, Trey Sermon, is he a jock or is he a joke?
He could be a jock. I like how he's played, but he hasn't played enough for me to say he's a joke. He has established himself a little bit in that running back room, which the 49ers always have like 8,000 running backs. But Elijah Mitchell is out. Mostert is out. Well, Elijah Mitchell is questionable. But point stands, Sermon has a chance to come out and be something. Will he? But he has the chance to do it. Well, who's your next one, Kyle?
Let's go Van Jefferson. Is he a jock or is he a joke?
Van Jefferson is a joke. I think that Van Jefferson is particularly just benefiting from just happening to be the right guy at the right time. I don't think that he is the wide receiver 2 in there. Are you kidding? Dude, so good. Bruh. That's awesome. Yeah, I would take that in a heartbeat.
That's not bad. Yeah, I like that.
Pretty good. Dude, well done. Well done. Wait, so what are your running backs now then, Dynasty?
Yeah, it'd be good to see. AJ Brown's not doing anything. I know Kareem Hunt's a backup, but he's been doing pretty well for me in my league.
He is surprising. He is the surprising player of this year for me. I didn't think he'd be that fantasy relevant. I'm really curious to see what he says for running back. So I'll answer one more while we're waiting to hear back from him.
Let's go Zach Wilson. Is he a jock or is he a joke?
I think he's a jock. I just think he hasn't played very well to start out with, but the rest of his schedule doesn't look super bad. I mean, let me hop on that real quick and just double check while we're waiting. But I don't think his schedule is super bad. Ooh, that's an interesting one. I'm going to look that up. Kyle, I already see something I don't like on there that I would suggest to drop. We just talked about Gaskin. Oh, did he die? Well, Kyle might come back. Anyhow, Zeke, Hunt, Sanders are good. AJ Dillon, absolutely. Gaskin, I'm just so questionable about Gaskin because he just hasn't been there. I know you can't even trade him for anything. That's I trust me, I get it. Is there anything in waiver wire maybe that you could pick up to take over for that? I don't know what's in your waiver. Yeah, he died. He'll be back. This happens occasionally. I gotta see what I was looking for. Oh, he dropped him. Well, hey, there we go. Hey, I'm gonna put his running backs back up.
Okay. Zeke.
I told him the only thing I'm questionable about is Gaskin. He said, "Yeah, I know. Nobody wants him." I asked him on his waiver wire.
Though. I mean,
everything else is good. Yeah, I know.
No, and Dylan's been playing pretty well. Miles Sanders, even as your third running back, like he's been trashed the first 4 weeks. But if they get him involved, it's a really good number 3. I mean, honestly, Sanders should be a good number 2 running back, where he was drafted and what people projected him to be. But if he gets the ball like he should the next few weeks or so, then it's a very good number 3. So good on you.
I asked what was in the waiver pickups. Maybe we can help with that and get you somebody better than Gaskin. Trade bait, or did you have another Jocker joke? I'm sorry.
We can move on. It's all good.
Okay, let me jump over to trade bait. I'm so sad we lost all the people that were there because this was basically what they were asking. Kyle, what's your first one here?
Mike Williams, trade for or trade away, and what is a fair trade package?
Oof. Trade for Mike Williams. Mike Williams has actually kind of showed up, especially against some like better defenses. Don't really know how that's gonna like pan out for anybody, but yeah, I know he had 1 point against the Raiders, but I'm not worried about it because it was just the Eckler show that week. every other week it's been the Mike Williams show and Keenan Allen. So I'm not going to jump off the train of Mike Williams and be like, oh, I'm terrified, I don't want him. What's a fair trade package? You know, I feel like, hold on, he did answer. Yeah, I would. I did something very similar. I took Kenny Gainwell. Yep. That would actually be pretty decent. Co-host. Okay, well then maybe we do need to subscribe to you guys and chat back and forth. That would be fun. We have a couple other podcast friends, but I like being friends with other people that are in charge of shows or podcasts or what have you. But yeah, man, Gainwell is my thought, dude. Well, I don't know what to trade for Mike Williams. What would be fair? Like you're the one with the more experience in fantasy than me, and you've seen more trades go down.
If we're trading him for a running back, I would say a running back like maybe a combination of someone like an Elijah Mitchell and a receiver like Devonta Smith, maybe. I think
Ooh.
you know if you had those guys, that would be decent. Just because
I like that.
Elijah Mitchell is kind of iffy right now, and running back number 1 or 2, either way, he's kind of hurt. But Devonta Smith, you can kind of see some inklings of him becoming a number 1 guy, but he's not quite there yet. So I feel like you kind of get someone that'll help you now, Elijah Mitchell and Devonta Smith, who could have some good numbers down the road. So
yeah, I definitely feel that. Let's see who is second on there. My phone keeps freezing out. Zach Moss, Kyle, trade for or away? Why and what is a fair trade package?
I would trade away Zach Moss just because he's on an incredible high right now, and I don't think he's going to continue that. Trade away for what? I think if you're going to go receiver, I think someone like a maybe like a Robbie Anderson. I know Robbie Anderson's kind of not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Sam Darnold's really just having a bunch of rushing touchdowns right now, and that's not really good for old Robbie.
Nope.
I think that might be a fair trade. Robbie Anderson's like 70th, I think. And well, he had like 11 targets last game, which you'd like to see. His highest point total is about 12. But I still think Robbie Anderson has a lot more value than what he's performing right now. So if you're looking for a receiver, I think that might be a fair trade.
Yeah, I would absolutely be on that. Hey, cool. I might be there for that. I might actually be there for that. Usually I'm not after 6, but I can be mobile and listen for a little bit. Or actually, wait a minute. What is Pacific Standard Time? What is I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm sorry.
That might be at 7 o'clock, I think.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. Sorry, Dynasty. We are not the smartest when it comes to different time zones. We're Eastern Standard Time. So, but yeah, I thank you for the subscription. We just subbed to you. So we will chat, man. I would like to do something together. That'd be cool. Let's see. We had one last one, didn't we, Kyle?
Yes. Also, I think that means it's 9 o'clock for us.
Okay. Well, yeah, I've got plenty of time by then. Okay.
Last one is Jared Cook. Trade for or trade away?
Trade away. Because as I said before, it is just the Mike Williams and Keenan Allen show and the Austin Eckler show. I don't see Jared Cook as being a threat or somebody that you just desperately have to go get. I would trade away. I would shoot low. I don't even know what to shoot for. Maybe like a Tyson Williams. Maybe like a Javonte Williams. Somebody that's not like killing it, but somebody that has a higher potential to, because all it's going to take is one injury to Latavius Murray and they go back to Tyson Williams.
Yeah.
Or because I don't think Lev Bell is ready. and I don't think Lev Bell is going to be ready for a while. So definitely get rid of Jared Cook if you've got Jared Cook, would be my thought. What I'm doing in one league is I'm just playing week by week, just picking up a tight end and running him because I didn't get one of the premier tight ends. And that seems to be working out, especially if you're in that kind of situation. So, let us move to one of our favorite segments, Nightmare on Jock Street. Dude, I got to be honest. The Vikings run game is here this week. And I had a lot of nightmares about that. Thankfully, I did not have anybody. I dropped Madison right before that game started because I had a bad feeling. And it looked like Cook was going to be taking the majority of the snaps. Cook, who is supposedly healthy, had 6.40 points, 9 rushes for 34 yards, 6 targets, 2 catches for 10 yards. And Alexander Madison had 2 points for 10 rushes for 20 yards. That's abysmal.
Yeah.
That is absolutely abysmal. Like, backwater, terrible, terrible. What's up, Brad? I am also a Brad. Kyle, do you know this Brad specifically?
Brad, no.
I do not, but welcome to the show, Brad. We are running towards the end here. Welcome to Nightmare on Jock Street.
Looks like he has some deer in his picture.
Yeah,
Brad, do you know what you call a deer with no eyes?
No,
no-eyed deer. There's some jokes for you on this podcast.
That just took like everything out of me. Oh my gosh. Anyhow, Nightmare on Jock Street, where we talk about fantasy performances that were absolutely abysmal and terrifying and things that are going to keep us up at night. Kyle, is the Vikings run game going to be a recurring nightmare, or will I have better dreams in the future?
No, they played Cleveland last week. That's a tough defensive line. Especially that defensive line for the Browns with Myles Garrett, with Jadeveon Clowney. Perfect dad joke. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice to meet you too, Brad. Welcome. We do Wednesdays at 5 if you're a fantasy person. Don't know if that works out for your schedule. If not, we do post. It'll go to YouTube, it'll go to Facebook, and it'll go to Anchor and Spotify. That is where you can find stuff if that's a little easier to just listen to it rather than see us. But yeah, welcome. Welcome, dude. Oh, hold on, one more. I don't want to bring you the bad news. But I don't know if that's a winner. I don't know. Bobby Trees has been very iffy for me. Julio maybe, but Patterson has had
of them, though?
upside.
You can get both of them? That's pretty good. I mean,
yeah. Oh, sweet, great. We'll be happy to have you. Hey, Brad, do you mind if I ask you what running backs do you have right now?
Yeah, I like to see that. Like I was saying, Vikings will be okay. Dalvin Cook had like 20 in his first game, 16 in his second game. Yeah. They play a pretty horrible defense, I think, this week, Detroit's defense. So we'll see this week. If they can't do it this week, then deservedly so.
I agree. Should I trade Deontay Johnson and Henderson? I'm guessing, Darrell Henderson for Kelsey, Allen Robinson, and Jamal Williams. Who's the winner? Whoever ends up with Kelsey. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're Kelsey, do it.
If that's your team, Deontay Johnson and Henderson, you're getting those guys. Heck to the Yep, do it in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think about it twice. Do it.
Man, dude, if you're getting Kelsey and you make it to the Super Bowl, can you invite us? Like, I'd like to see that matchup. I really would. Dude, yeah, you'd be the winner if you take Kelsey. I can't talk enough about that.
Yeah.
Brad got back to us. Mixon, Barkley, and Fournette.
Yep, you're fine.
Ooh.
Yep, you're good.
Yeah,
man.
Dude, you're fine. That was very smart.
Yep, you're good.
Yeah, you're good. Hold on. I have Derrick Henry and Miles Sanders also. No. I would hang on to them. If you can trade Deontay Johnson and Henderson for Kelsey, Allen Robinson, and Jamal Williams, send them.
Yeah.
Bye.
You're good.
Yeah. You're fine, man, for real. Wow, what a team. Did you just draft by yourself and everyone else was just like not looking at teams when they drafted, or like I'm really curious. Like that's such a good team. I'm
Really good.
jealous. You bet, man. You are absolutely welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next week too. Yeah, no, dude. That is an amazing trade. Please, please swing that trade. 12-team PPR. My team is not that good in the 12-team PPR. Holy crap! Well done, dude. We've got more questions. Holy crap! Michael Thomas for Josh Jacobs.
No.
No, no.
Well, if you're getting Josh Jacobs, then yes.
Yeah.
If you're giving away Josh Jacobs, then no. Keep Josh Jacobs. Keep Josh Jacobs. Don't Michael Thomas. But if you're getting him, then yeah.
Here's another one. Should I trade A.J. Brown and Chris Godwin for DK Metcalf and Javonte Williams to have lots of receivers and running backs in PPR?
That might be, if you need a running back, that actually might be good for you. A.J. Brown's kind of, he's not doing well. DK Metcalf is one of the best fantasy receivers out there. I mean, Chris Godwin is so consistent, but if you really need a running back, it might be worth it.
And let's be honest here too. DK Metcalf can go off any week because Lockett is so inconsistent. Like that is a steal. I would take Javonte Williams and DK Metcalf, dude. I really would. You are absolutely welcome, Noah. Thanks for asking. Awesome questions. Dude, I can't wait to see what your team looks like after you make this trade. Brad is actually back to us. I'm on trade 3. Antonio Gibson for Tyreek Hill for Barkley, now Pat for Julio and Bobby. I'm trying to make moves. Yeah, I get you. I do the same thing. After I make a trade, I'm like, okay, now I have this player, so I can trade for that player. I do the same thing. It's no problem. Let's see. Antonio Gibson for Tyreek Hill for Barkley. What do you think, Kyle? I'm scratching my head here a minute.
Well, I'm still confused what this trade is. Was Antonio Gibson for Tyreek Hill his first trade?
I think so. And then Hill for Barkley.
Oh boy, now Pat for Julio and Bobby.
Yeah, let me go.
Trades.
Let me go back. Sorry. I'd do it. Tyreek has got such an upside. Are you trading Barkley for Hill? If you are, then I would do it. Oh, he did all of those already. Okay, so wait. So who did you end up with? Let me answer somebody else first while you type me your question. Thoughts on Jalen Waddle? Kyle might be dying again, so I will handle this one, Ryan. I'm very biased. I'm an Alabama kid. Kills me. But I like Jalen Waddle. I feel like Waddle has the best potential out of all the Dolphins wide receivers right now. I don't believe really in Devontae Parker. Oh, maybe there's a Kyle. Is there a Kyle? Oh, what's happening? Please help me. I don't really believe in Devontae Parker. I think if it's going to be anybody, it's probably going to be Jalen Waddle. Brissett, however, makes me really questionable, but I would hang on to Jalen Waddle if you have him. Are you trying to trade for him? Let's see. Noah has another one. I need Kyle back. Kyle is my backbone. I need Kyle back. Oh, there we go. Okay. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Miles Sanders, Stephon Diggs, Terry McLaurin, Allen Robinson, Jerry Jeudy, Marquise Brown, and Kelsey. Holy crap. If you're not in your fantasy championship game, I will be shocked, dude. Holy wow. Dude. Oh, my gosh. Kyle, I need you to come back and help me with one, and I don't know if you're frozen or not. Thoughts on Jalen Waddle? Oh, hey, Kyle, I can't hear you. That's not good. That's not good. Let's check something. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. So let me hit like 2 more things here, and we might have to wrap up because we're running out of audio. So now your team is Barkley, Mixon, Fournette, Cooper, Woods, Julio Jones, Allen, Rob Sutton. Okay, yeah, that's not a bad team, Brad. I like it. Also, yes, I agree. Noah needs to help me in my draft. I will FaceTime Noah so Noah can tell me not to pick all the crappy team that are there. Uh, yeah, kind of. I'm all on that. Oh, let me see. Hang on. This guy said he would give me Josh Jacobs and Waddle for Michael Thomas. Both would sit on my bench. So I don't know if I should just hold on to Michael Thomas and wait until his value increases or make this trade. I would make the trade. I can see Kyle. I know you can't hear Kyle, but I can see Kyle sitting there saying I would do it because Jacobs and Waddle are going to have immediate impact. Michael Thomas may not play at all this year. You may just be sitting waiting on Michael Thomas, and it may not happen. So, yeah, I still can't hear you, bud.
No.
Hey, there it is.
Good.
Sweet.
Yeah, do it for sure.
Yep. That's crazy. That's really crazy, dude, especially because your draft is just incredible. Yeah, it's true. You win some, you lose some. There is no like set way to win.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what's that's tough questions.
Lance, though, because Lance is going to automatic. Do you need him just for like 1 week? If you need him for like 1 week, I'd take Lance over Fields right now. But if you're talking about down the road, Jimmy G could come back and take the job from Lance, but Fields also hasn't really proven that he's got all that when he's been in there. So I'll leave that one up to you. It's really like a 50-50 ball, but if you're going to do an immediate impact, I would take Trey Lance.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, Brad. I don't think we need a lot of segments on our show.
No, apparently not. We'll just go live and talk.
Yeah, really. I don't even think we need to do wheel defense. Yeah, that team's going to be
really good. For sure. That's really nice, man. Yeah, absolutely. We need more like positive support in the fantasy community, and that right there makes me happy. You just wish people the best, and if you beat them, you get to brag. If not, it's no big deal, and you move on. That's kind of how it goes. I'm a sore loser myself, so I can't really say anything. But yeah, Kyle, I'm not even going to touch wheel of defense. I'm going to take a couple more questions. If anybody has any more questions on who they should start this week, maybe, or any other questions, I'll take like 3 or 4 more if anybody's got any.
Well, let me tell you my team, guys, just for fun. Why not? We can tell you.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
So I got Tom Brady, Chris Carson, Jonathan Taylor, Keenan Allen, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Dallas Goedert, Jamison Crowder, Patriots defense, Justin Fields, Odell, Tyler Boyd, Hunter Henry, Mark Ingram, Kenyon Drake. I did draft J.K. Dobbins, and then he got hurt a day later. So if you're wondering why my running backs suck, that's why. Well, my backup ones anyway. So I'm 3-1 in this league right now. So that team's going pretty well.
Yeah. Would you start Patterson over CEH at Buffalo? Yes. Here's why. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been decreasing each week in his role, in his like target share, and his rushes and everything. And when they get to the red zone, Williams is the one taking the snaps down there, not CEH. So both of those things really concern me. I would probably start Patterson over CEH.
CEH had a killer against the Eagles last week, but it's also the Eagles defense. I think that Buffalo Chiefs game might be a shootout because that Chiefs defense is horrible, and Josh Allen might throw the ball all over them. So I think Mahomes is going to pass the ball a lot more rather than the Chiefs just running it down their throat. So
I agree. Beat first place as 11th place last week, so I hugged him and just said good game. I hate bad blood. There's just no point. I'll mess around with good friends I know and won't take me serious. Yeah, dude, that's what it's all about. That's why Kyle and I play fantasy. We're really good friends, best friends, truly. But listen, that's what you do. You take your L's, you take your dubs, and you just keep rolling. Hey, you bet, B-dubs. Like, subscribe, hang out with us. Dude, we're here every Wednesday at 5 to talk fantasy, but I guess now it's answering fantasy questions, which I'm totally okay with.
Yeah, follow us on Facebook, too.
Right. Ryan's got one. Oh, Zach Ertz or Robert Tonyan?
I'm just going to go with Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Dallas Goedert is still there, but from what I've seen from Zach Ertz the last couple of weeks, he's still getting open. It's just, can Jalen Hurts get him the ball on time? But he's getting some red zone targets too. So yeah, Logan Thomas is on IR. That's pretty bad for the Washington football team. I'll never get that right. Yeah. So Zach Ertz for sure. I think it's a good start.
Yeah. That's what you do. You hope that they will like bench somebody and make you look good and just give you one dub just for like making you feel better. That's kind of the point. That's why I try to schmooze some people in trades and others not. Here's my fantasy team in a different league. I have Kyler Murray, Damian Williams, Najee Harris, Marvin Jones, Devontae Adams, TJ Hawkinson, Jay Crowder, Rodrigo Blankenship. Yes, I have an absolute love for that man and will run him in every league that I can. Colts defense, Justin Fields, Kenny Gainwell, Christian McCaffrey, T. Higgins, Curtis Samuel, and George Kittle. I like this team. I do. Except that, once again, McCaffrey has just been like, I don't want to play. Ha, 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 ha. Hate it. Oh, this is a good question, James. Let me toss it up on here. My trade says process is October 7th. Does that mean it goes through trade around like midnight on October 7th? Do you play what app do you play on? Do you play on NFL Fantasy? I'll wait for
it also depends on your commissioner. He has to approve it. So it might not be processed till he approves it. It'll be the specific time for each trade. I just don't know. I don't think it's Yahoo.
Okay.
Yahoo. I do play Yahoo sometimes. I think it'll be on a Wednesday, which that makes sense, right? October 7th, though, that's tomorrow. Today's the 6th.
I think if it doesn't go through by midnight on the 7th, I would just I don't know if you know your commissioner personally, text your commissioner and say, hey, I really want this trade to go through before we play this Sunday, or even if it's like Thursday night or whatever. Yeah. I would get in there and say something. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's around the commissioner. Wesley has a good question. I can trade for Jamar Chase, Deontay Johnson, or Brandon Cooks. Who do I trade for?
Jamar Chase.
Yeah. Sadly, I have to agree. I don't like Jamar Chase, but it's absolutely correct. Also, who do I start this week? Stafford or Prescott?
Ooh, let me check here.
We'll come back to that one. Let me answer a couple other people. Listen, man, it's a Brad thing. It really is. It must be. Although I'll admit half of that has been trades, but yeah, it's something about Brad's. Ryan, Josh Allen, CMC, Swift, Debo, Ridley, Ertz, and Thielen. Anyone I should trade? Let us answer Stafford and Prescott, and we'll come back and answer that one here in a second. I'm getting players that play this Thursday, so I need them in my lineup. Dude, yeah, I would text your commissioner and be like, hey, when is this trade going through? I really need this stuff for this Thursday. 90% of the time, we're both commissioners for leagues. 90% of the time, the commissioner will go in there and do what they need to do. So,
Dak and Matt Stafford both have favorable matchups this week. I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. Dak does play the New York Giants, though, and those division games are always tough. So,
yeah,
I might go Stafford against Seattle. Yeah, I think I'd go Stafford against Seattle.
And I'll completely confuse you and say Prescott against the Giants because I don't believe in the Giants defense. But either way, you're going to do well. I'm not super concerned. Let me go and answer Ryan again. He's asking anyone he should trade. I don't know. I kind of like all of them. Kyle, your thoughts?
I mean, if that's your starting lineup, dude, keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
If there's anyone you really want to get rid of, I'd say maybe DeAndre Swift. I'd say maybe DeAndre Swift. Just because I think Christian McCaffrey could probably carry you at the end of the year, as well as Josh Allen. So,
yep, I agree with that. And Thielen is just a red zone target. So yeah. Yes, we pick okay and we trade like kings. I trade a lot. So, yeah, everybody kind of knows that. Yeah, I feel that. I'll tell you what, I will take one more question. Anybody, any question, one more question, and then Kyle and I are going to hop off. One last question. Anybody? Anybody? Can be anything.
Am I single? No, I'm not single. I'm sorry.
Gosh,
No,
Kyle. Neither of us are. Yeah. But I'll give one more. Dang, this is the most questions we've ever had, guys. I love answering questions more than just writing what I've already written. Keep it up. Come hanging out with us on Wednesdays at 5 if you're really into fantasy.
And Tuesdays at 4.
Tuesdays at 4 are different though. It's not fantasy. We talk just kind of like sports, everything.
Still fun though.
Yeah,
a lot of good stuff we talk about on that one, and we could go with, even if it's really hard questions. We love those.
Hey, we'll take it.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Ryan. Good name.
Sweet. If there are no more questions, I guess Kyle and I will hop off. Thank you all so much for your questions, support, hanging with us. Hopefully our tidbits here and there will help you get to where you need to a championship. Come hang with us. Come tell us how your trades went. Complain to us if you have to. We'll figure out how to get you out of your mess. Just come talk to us. But we will see you next week.
Later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.